Welcome to TeaTime Midlife Edition, Midlife Bucket List, live from Costa Rica. Hi, I'm your host, Regina Young, and today I'm started a midlife series for the Midlife Bucket List. Now, you might ask, well, why a midlife bucket list? Well, I got to a point in life when I realized, wow, there's some things I want to do, and it's my turn. So why not come up with a midlife bucket list to write down all the things I wanted to do, not before I kick the bucket, which is where the bucket list comes from, but by choice, by, I don't know, challenging myself, expanding myself, creating a midlife bucket list that does all those things. So today I'm drinking, because it is Tea Time Midlife Edition, I am drinking turmeric, ginger, and licorice tea. Now we know it smells good with that ginger, which is really good for your belly. And um, turmeric is actually good for anti-inflammation, and licorice is very good for your throat. But consult with your doctor or herbalist to make sure it fits in your health regimen. So let's talk about it. Have you ever even decided to do a midlife bucket list? I mean, I asked a few folks just to see what they thought about it, and they said, wow, I haven't challenged myself in a long time. I've been just going through life day by day, doing what I normally do. And I never thought that I could create a list of all the things that I want to do that would challenge me and have me expand and grow. So what is the difference between, let's say, a bucket list, midlife bucket list, and an end of life bucket list? Well, it's just that. An end of life bucket list, just like the movie Bucket List, is the movie where Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman both were terminally ill, and there's some things that they wanted to do. One had all the resources to be able to do that and no friends, and the other had, a beautiful wife, a family, but, didn't have the resources. So together they went on an escapade and an adventure, and before their time ran out. And that was one of the things I said, wow, why do we have to do it as a last resort? Why can't you do a midlife bucket list by choice, where you get to choose actually all the things you want to do now that it's your turn? Because you know how life works. It's like, oh, my children are my priority. My job's my priority. My husband's my priority. My pets are my priority. And then at one point you say, okay, I'm about to, kick the bucket. Now I'm the priority. Well, you're in midlife. You're the priority now. It's your turn. So I came to the conclusion, well, if it's my turn, then I want to inspire myself and encourage myself to try different things that I never even thought I would do, let alone consider, do I have the resources for it? I just said, you know what, let's live a little and give myself permission to do just that. Live a lot, not a little. I mean, I set the design, I set the time, and I fulfill on it. So one of the things about this midlife bucket list is, the first thing is I gave myself permission to dream, permission to explore, permission to learn something new, permission to be okay where I am physically, mentally, just give myself permission, and to give up the self-limiting beliefs or things I thought that kept me safe in place. I just gave them up, just let it go. So, and I created the list. And with that list, I started sharing with people and people were getting enrolled. So like for instance, on one of my bucket lists, and I'm going to say I have a top 5 bucket list, but all you know, it could start top 5 and it can expand at any time. So on my top 5 bucket list, one of the things I said, I'd love to spend a month abroad in a foreign country living. So I shared with my sister-in-law about that. And it was one of those things where she had in the past had already lived abroad in Costa Rica for 2 months. She gave herself permission and she moved to Costa Rica for a couple months. Well, this time I gave myself permission and I moved to Costa Rica for a month and literally lived abroad for a month in Costa Rica. So that's why I am here today. And the amazing thing is I discovered that by giving myself that permission, I was free to do more than just that. I was free to try different things that I would never think, you know, like working abroad, like working. If I'm stay at home anyway, why not work abroad, working from home? Like, wow, that would be a dream that I would never think of as an option. And I was like, guess what? That's an option. And that is just extraordinary to me. So let me go back. I digress. But the top 5 midlife bucket lists that I created was 1 month living abroad. And so I did that and doing that in Costa Rica. So extraordinary, yes. The second one is go to a concert. I know that seems so simple, but I'm not necessarily a big concert goer. It's been a long time, maybe when I was younger, but I'm going to a concert. Never thought about it. Another one is to throw myself a photo shoot at this point in life with this body, to just have that experience of being as glamorous and, as they would say, as beautiful as you've always was, like that kind of thing. The other thing is to go to a hot air balloon festival. That kind of festival where all the balloons with all the, inflating the hot air balloon and the magic and, mystery and fascinating and beauty of it. I want that experience. That's something I had said I wanted to do for quite a while, and that is what I'm taking on with my midlife bucket list. Actually go safari. That's another one. Go to a safari and see all the giraffes and the animals and the zebras. Just experience what it's like to do all the things I said I would do, but I don't have to be like incapacitated or this is the last time I can see that. It's a way of discovering, hey, I might like that and did not even know that that's something that I could have in my life all the time. It doesn't have to be a one-off kind of situation. Another thing is, I know it's so strange and it's so small, but guess what? It matters to me because it brings me joy, is having a date night at a drive-in. I know it seems like not a big deal, but it is to me. That experience is so magical to have the sunset and then you get your food and then the movie begins and you're in the comfort of your car or on the outside of your car, looking at the stars in the sky. And I find that just so magical. And that's just the current top 10 bucket list. Now, I'm sure I can have a short-term top 10 midlife bucket list, or I could have a long-term top 10 midlife bucket list. One of my long-term top 10 midlife bucket list was TeaTime Midlife Edition, as well as writing a book. I just did a book, which is Overcoming Mediocrity, Unstoppable Women, Volume 9. That one is extraordinary. I am one of the first stories, but also for my long-term second book, which is actually writing about my modeling career in New York. So that's a second midlife bucket list long term. So there's a short term midlife bucket list and there's a long term midlife bucket list. I mean, you get to say how this bucket list goes, and then you just go at it. Go at fulfilling and expanding yourself to create whatever it is to go live it. It shouldn't be a fantasy. It shouldn't be something that could never happen to you. It's you. It's your turn. It's okay. It's your time. So I have to ask you to ask yourself one question. One question. Ask yourself, if it's your turn, finally, what would your midlife bucket list be? What would be your top 10 midlife bucket list items? That's a question. Keep in mind, I'd love you to share that on Facebook at TeaTimers Midlife Community. That's TeaTimers Midlife Community on Facebook. Really share your top 10 midlife bucket list items. I look forward to hearing from you. And that is the Midlife Bucket List Challenge. Cheers.